And welcome back, everyone. I wanted to play some Puzzle Rush because I said, why not? I love Puzzle Rush and it's good for your chess improvement. And so I thought, yeah, just let's make a video about it. And here we are. And yeah, also my payment on chess.com is finishing on April, sometime in April. So I have to use them for now because I have them. So I'm gonna have just one per day from starting from April 9, I think. So yeah, let's go do some puzzle rush because it's good. I'm gonna be explaining every single puzzle to the best of my capabilities. And let me hide the volume a bit. And yeah, we're gonna have a blast. My current record is 43, but I have little to no hope of getting there. And yeah, that one time that I got to 43, it took me a long time. Like on the last puzzles, I was spending maybe an hour per puzzle, and yeah, it's not gonna happen again. But yeah, we see the first puzzle, and it's for some reason it's not obvious. Usually it's just mating one or backrank checkmate, but we see that it's a queen endgame, and yeah, we are in check, so that limits our options. So we can either go up, down, or we can block, and blocking looks to be the most wisest thing to do, because we force a queen trade since it's with check, and once the queens are traded, our king is way closer to the pawns, and we're gonna be winning the race. So I'm confident we need to block, and yeah, after this we're gonna be winning the pawn race. Okay, that's slightly more trivial, and it's as easy as rook h8. Rook h8, I was gonna say, but we are playing with the black pieces, so this is rook a1, h8 would be the other square. Coordinates are another thing that I wanna make a video about because they're really underappreciated, but we can learn a lot about coordinates, and not very many people know how to say them correctly and fast. Now that's kind of a Greek gift of some sort, but I don't think it works. So it's a defensive puzzle. I think we just take the bishop and take the pawn with the king. So since take with the queen would be illegal because we are in check from the rook, we take, and there should not be any danger whatsoever. Once we block with the queen, since again I don't think we have another legal move at all, so let's block and we are safe. And that's just a rook hanging, and also the king is in danger. It's almost back rank, but if you know why it is not back rank made, because the bishop can block on e8, but it's a free rook regardless, so even if it's not made, it's still a rook. And we can see we can take the bishop, and our queen is also protected, so nothing can take the queen back, and we are very close to the king, so it's checkmate. A lot of these early puzzles are just about get the queen as close to the king as possible, as long as it is protected. You see, this one, for example, just get the queen closer to the king, and it's gonna be checkmate for these very early ones. And yeah, it's that easy. You see, again, just get the queen close to the king, make sure it is protected, and most of the time it is gonna be checkmate for us. The first, I wanna say 10 to 15. You see, again, queen on f7 is protected, and the king has no breathing room, so that would be checkmate. And yeah, maybe a fun exercise that you could do in these early ones is to name the squares. Try to be as fast as possible in naming the squares. So for example, here we have the b3 square, which is weak. We just need to figure out what to take with. For example, bishop takes, king goes up. Honestly, I'm struggling to see a follow-up. I don't think there is anything of a bishop takes, so I'm inclined to take on d3 with a rook, with a queen, because of course the problem is we are not really winning the rook because our queen is hanging in the background, so there's no winning the material there. So queen takes and continuation. I did not see that clearly. I did not see a checkmate, but it is so strong. We have so many pieces against the king that just my intuition says it's gotta be winning, and for these early ones, it's kind of okay to follow your intuition. Again, we have a case of just bring the queen next to the king, where it is protected. In this case, it's protected by the knight on g5, correct? And queen f7 is gonna be checkmate. And what do we have here? Yeah, we have a ladder mate. So rook a1, I'm gonna be cruising rather fast on these ones because they're really quite obvious. And yeah, just he's gonna block with the bishop probably, and but first it's gonna block with the rook, but it's not gonna do anything. I'm gonna show you. Yeah, now when he blocks with the bishop, just don't take with this rook, because this rook serves the purpose of cutting the king off this file. So yeah, he didn't even try to block with, but just in case, rook h takes was gonna be checkmate, not the other one. And here we don't have a queen, so how to get the queen as close to the king as possible if you don't have a queen? Well, we don't. Fortunately, we do have another piece, which is a bishop, and it also happens to be delivered on a mate, because the king has just so little breathing room, because the d2 square is taken by the knight, and the f2 squared is also covered by the knight. So if we take here, the king gets actually no squares and it's checkmate, even though we only have a bishop and a knight, which is usually hard to deliver checkmate with, but in this case it is checkmate. And what do we have here? Okay, the first one that I have to think just a little bit, but still, well, the king is kind of weak. We see that we have a bishop that can deliver a check, and actually nobody can block that check, and the bishop is covering this square, the knight is covering these two squares, and so it is checkmate in one after all. So I had no reason to think about that one, but I did, because I just couldn't figure it out that fast. Now, what do we have here? I'm gonna have to think on this one too. Yeah, no, we could just sacrifice. This is the first move that I'm thinking about. Well, the very first move that I thought about was checking, but it took me no time to figure out that led to nothing. After rook takes, or even king takes, probably you don't have anything. But yeah, if you sacrifice, it is a check, so he has to do something. And whilst, of course, this was not even a check, so he didn't really have to do anything. Of course, capturing back was gonna be the best move, but it's less forcing, you know. So we take on f5, and it probably has to take, because again it is check. And then after this, king escapes here, and yeah, we have this. That should win. You know what? I'm just gonna play rook f5 based on my intuition. Do I wanna do it? Am I brave enough? Say I am. Alright, it did work. My intuition kind of works after all. Now, of course, we take with the queen. Do we? Yeah, we do. I was thinking about queen d5, but there's a bishop. Otherwise, it would have been a great move. But no, we take him. Yeah, and the puzzle doesn't let us go on, but it was going to be a win for us, clearly. Now, lots of options here. We can give a check. He can't block because it is. We take the rook and it's actually checkmate. So if we give a check, well, there is no other move that is possible. So yeah, you might be inclined to think about rook e2 because it is a capture, so it's rather forcing. But don't move too fast because it actually doesn't lead to anything. You give a check first, and he's gonna probably suck his rooks, and then it was gonna be checkmate. Okay, super clear example. I'm actually thinking about this one, but no, it's rather simple. Okay, checks, captures, attacks. Remember the order. So we could give this check, but then a king moves, and it's complicated. I don't think we can extrapolate nothing more than a draw, because there is no way for getting the king out of here, and he's gonna win the pawn if we're not careful. And rook versus rook is just a draw. So you might think about this move, but rook takes, and what do we have? Nothing. Could think about this check, and then he just goes away, and it's just a draw. So the correct move is rook to g1, to b1, and get the coordinates wrong again, because the point is that when the king is here, we can actually give a check and sacrifice the pawn. We're actually going to lose the pawn, but the point is that the rook on the other side is undefended. So yeah, it's starting to get on this puzzle is starting to be about this 2 moves combo rather than 1 move checkmate or 1 move combo, just taking hanging pieces. We have to start thinking about 1 or more moves in ahead. And yeah, we have a hanging knight, so I'm imagining only one of the 2 captures is correct. Now, if we capture this way, let's counter material. He's got a knight, we've got a knight. He's got a queen, we have a queen. Bishop, bishop, rook, 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 rook. And pawns, 3. We're actually down a pawn there. So yeah, we take a knight and we have very little advantage that we can show. But if we take with the other pawn, we're actually threatening something very clear. We're threatening this and this, which is checkmate, except that there is a knight. But I think this is the correct move, because it just opens up this, and we actually have knight g4, if you can visualize that. Once the pawn on g4 is moved, we have access to the g4 square with the knight, and we actually can lose that many tempos, o tempi, sono italiano quindi tempi, because the position is actually kind of closed and our king is very safe. So yeah, I feel confident that we take with a g-pawn to go here, and yeah, he actually took backwards. So yeah, I think we still go. I don't think we take, right? Wait. I was actually imagining another move from him, but I didn't think he would take. I mean, if he take, we just up a piece. So, and we're still threatening this. I mean, do we need anything else, really? Maybe takes here using the pin, or here even better. We can always go here, and it is unstoppable. So what is the correct order? If we go here, no checks again, so... Oh, but he just moves the knight, maybe. And then there is no way of getting a pawn here, but after this... I'm just gonna take the knight. I think this makes the most sense. But yeah, that was rather confusing, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, this one actually simpler. So the point is we are down a ton of material. By a ton, I mean a bishop for a pawn. Okay, no, and a rook. Okay, and a full rook. Okay, it's actually a ton of material. So we better deliver checkmate or win the queen or something drastic, because otherwise we're not getting out. First of all, you might think check, and it's a fork. So we're winning the game because we're taking the piece and so. But it might not be that simple, because he can... Oops, sorry. He can block. And no, it might actually just be that simple. I was thinking that we need to get here to deliver checkmate, but I don't see... You know, yeah, this is winning regardless, because if he moves here, it is checkmate. And if he blocks with the rook, we have this, and it's back rank mate. And with the pawn is actually the same story, because our king is blocking this square, and it's check, so very limited options again. Yeah, we just take the rook. Of course, you have to check that it's checkmate. You don't just go, yeah, I want a rook. That is the main difference. If we hadn't checkmate in this position, it's actually really pretty bad, this position. Because first of all, a king is in dire straits, and this is actually checkmate. Both of these moves are checkmate, so just make sure we have something better than just winning the rook there. Alright, 18th puzzle. That used to be harder. Is it just me, or look at this one. It's just mating one. What is wrong with them? Are they getting easier? Okay, I shouldn't trash talk. I'm gonna probably lose in the next 5 to 10 puzzles, I wanna say. But yeah, no, this is actually just check all the checks, and one of them will be mate. You see, Queen H3 is checkmate in one move. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna... What? Mating one again. Okay, I guess the trick was to lure us into taking the rook and blundery checkmate ourselves. Or maybe playing this move. This is just wrong because he blocks and we have nothing. I don't really know what the point was, but this is checkmate in one, so... Alright, what do we have here? We have check, and he might block. But at that point I realized that we have a light square bishop, so probably the puzzle is gonna be centralized on the light square theme. And so you have to notice that the rook is blocking on a square and the other rook is blocking on a light square. So if we check and he blocks, we can actually take, and both of the pieces are on a light squares, and we have actually bishop e2, which is wins material because the king is gonna end up here and the other rook is already on the light square. And a very important to notice, there is no other move other than blocking here, because, well, I guess he could go here, but it's the same thing. So it's obviously this move, and yeah, he blocks. And do not play this preemptively, because then he just takes your rook, and you're down a bishop for rook, which is no bueno. Take first and then fork, and you're up a bishop. Now it's a race. I'm gonna give you a trick which does not work on the real positions that you get in real games at all. But in most puzzles on chess.com, where it is a 9 game and we have pawns going, most of the times you just trade and it is the good response. But let's count. If we trade, push, 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 queen, and queen, and we have the move. Now, why would we be winning there? Let's see. We have check. The king is here, remember? And let's see. The king cannot step on this file because then queen f1 wins the other queen. So king will probably step somewhere here. And then we can just check ace maybe. I don't see the clear win. So maybe we do check. Maybe we don't trade for some reason. Could it be? Let's see, check. Maybe he goes here. No, but there is nothing. There is no way it's not trades, right? Okay. Oh, maybe we try to run for the pawn, for the defense. Yeah, that might be it. Okay, I'm back. I was gone for a moment, and the audio might be a bit different, but I was going to eat dinner. So, okay, thinking about this puzzle, pushing and pushing, I don't see a conclusion after all of that. So probably the point is that we have to try and do something to stop the pawn. Now, at which point do we move the king? I'm thinking a5, f4, and then a4. And when he pushes f5, now we have to go because we are entering the square. And if he just keeps pushing, we come to the pawn, and we're going to be winning it. And he's way too far off for stopping us. So I believe we actually start with pushing, and I do not think there is a way for him to get in the square, so we just push. Now he lost time with the, sorry about that. He lost time with the pawn, so he's lagging behind in the race, so we're gonna be winning. Okay, now 22nd puzzle. Sorry, well, lots of stuff is hanging. We could take a knight, and then he has to take back, and we can fork him. And we material. Is it that simple? Not really, because the knight can move and actually defend the rook. But if you notice, what we could do in that position, try and picture it. Knight e6, rook e6, king f7. We have g5 after knight f4. Sorry, I can't draw arrows. After knight f4, we have g5, which removes the defender of the rook. So now the knight is under attack and the rook is under attack, and there is no way for the rook to move anything. So he might sacrifice the exchange here on f6, and then we will take, and we have a rook for a knight, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I believe the correct move is to take on e6, fork, and yeah. After this, we would have just kicked away the knight, but he just offers us the knight, so we take it. And wow, again, how is this that simple? It's a 23rd puzzle and we have mate in 1. Just, I guess, bring the queen as close to the king as possible. And this might get a bit noisy, but I fear I'm gonna have to turn the ventilation on, because otherwise my computer is gonna really be suffering for a bit. And I'm sorry if there is any noise, but not much I can do about it. And alright, so checks, capture, attacks, right? We have queen g5, which is a check, and the king might move, and we might check again, and the king goes back, and not really much we have accomplished, right? Many times in the puzzles, you don't want to repeat moves. It's usually a bad thing, unless you're really aiming for a draw, but this is very advanced and doesn't happen that early in the puzzle rush. So what we might try is knight to g5, threatening, of course, the mate here on h7, and I do not see a way for him to stop it, because there aren't checks on my king, except for this one. Nice, thank you. And king cannot move, there are no legal moves to king, and yeah, the only thing that I might think about is moving the rook, but that just transforming the mate in 1 into a mate in 2 after this, and queen f7. So yeah, I'm pretty confident knight g5 just wins. Yeah, as I said, queen e1 is played, and we take in there. They might even play bishop c3. Look, no, okay, they sometimes do. Okay, this is another mate in 2. This is, no, it's not mate in 2. Oh my god. Okay, I'm officially seeing stuff that isn't here. Okay, I thought just here and mate, but the queen on b2 is actually guarding the bishop on g7. So yeah, don't rush too much. Definitely do not rush ever. But what do we have after this? After queen f7, yeah, maybe we can play this check, and then if this blocks, I mean, surely we must win there. Yeah, we just take this with the queen and it's mate, I believe. Yeah. So after this check, and if rook takes, which is the most important move, we take, and the bishop is blocking the escape for the king, so he must take. Then after the bishop is taken, queen f8 is checkmate, because the queen is actually controlling the g7 square. It's actually pretty funny, you'll see it. But check, and now after I take, he has to block, and then the queen is blocking the escape square on g7, so it's checkmate. Nice, 26 puzzle. Let's see if I can get to 30 without missing one. I don't know, I doubt, but this one looks not the most difficult, I want to say. Let's see. Check, of course, but the first move you think about is, of course, queen f6. Or queen c3, I guess, because we're playing with the black pieces. If we were playing with the white pieces, this would be the f6 square. But it's specular, so it's the c3 square. Then, of course, only legal move is this one, and then we have a check, and then king b5 is forced, and what do we have there? What do we have there? I'm actually really having to think about this one. See, but there is no way this is not correct, right? Because the other possible checks are here or there, but this one is controlled by the pawn and this by the queen, so there is no real check that makes sense. I very briefly considered this, but again, there is nothing. He just takes, and no way that is the right move. So taking here. Okay, now I have to figure out whether or not I give this check, because what else could I possibly do? Let me think about this. Of course, the other check that I might play is this one. But then after this, you see, my rook is not playing whether grass. If I play here, my rook is playing. He's actually cutting off the a file. So, rook a2, king b5. We don't have this check. We don't have this check because these pawns are incredibly annoying. What do we have there? We have queen d3. So let's visualize this. Rook a2, king b5, queen b3. And the king must tap here. I don't see an alternative. And then we have either queen or rook to a6. I think both win. So yeah, let's go here and hopefully, yeah, that's correct. Nice. I'm starting to have to hope that it works, which is kind of bad, but okay. First thing I'm thinking of, this king has run out of breathing room. This bishop is cutting out the dark squares, and we might have some mate here. Now this is not checkmate because bishop blocks. Now once the bishop has blocked, we can take a rook. I don't think that does much to the position. It's just queen takes, and I don't think that is correct. Now, I might think about taking the bishop first, and then this will be checkmate because the bishop can't block anymore. But it's actually not checkmate because now the king has the e2 square after rook takes. You see, the rook has moved, so king e2 is possible. So I'm thinking going back to this, and then maybe we can threaten this using the pin. See what happens there. Check. Bishop blocks here. Of course, my rook is hanging, so if I don't deliver checkmate, I'm in a really bad position, like really, really bad. If I take the queen, there is king here, and then this is mate, isn't it? I think it is. Now, I have not really solved the puzzle because I only considered this, and this. Now, he lost a tempo by taking the rook on e8. But what else could he do, really? How can he defend the pawn here, the bishop here? The mate. Oh, the whole position. How does he defend it? I am struggling to see a way because the rook is actually in the way. So yeah, I believe this is correct. Oh, shit. It wasn't. Oh my god. Should I check? Yeah, let's check. What could it be? What other moves are there? Maybe taking here. Taking on... Sorry, not here. Taking here could be correct. Because it's clearly not a knight move. I mean, these knights are not going anywhere. And this is the only check that makes sense. So this is the only move left, I want to say. It is correct. Then check. Oh! I missed this move. Oh no! I missed that I can take on g2. Yeah. Friendly reminder. Do not miss moves when playing puzzles. Okay, what do we have here? I did not get to 30 without losing one. Happens. We have a pawn that is incredibly close to promoting, and we are down a queen and a bishop for a rook. So we have to either checkmate or promote the pawn at all costs. Otherwise, we're lost. What happens if we push immediately? He can take a rook, but then we take, and then I don't think there is anything else in a draw, because I have an extra pawn, but it's queen and queen, and very often when there is king, queen, and pawn versus king and queen, there is gotta be a perpetual, unless there is some magic but usually there is a perpetual, so I don't think pushing is correct. The other moves that could make any sense is check, and maybe then we sacrifice, and then I don't think there is anything. Our king is too exposed, so even if we manage to push, first of all, the queen is controlling, and yeah, no, I don't believe in this at all. So maybe check this way to try and get behind the pawn. That might be correct. But the king has to go to g5 to help push the pawn. I don't know, guys. I'm really confused about this one. Gonna have to take a minute here. Let's see. We can't play anything that isn't a check or a push, right? There is no obscure king move. No way. And the rook is under attack, so let's be careful. I mean, I could play this, but I really don't believe in any of this. There is no way. Of course, there are always a lot of checks, and I'm going to be losing both pawns, and this bishop blockades the pawns perfectly, so no way I can just play a silent move like f5. I'm going to have to do something, actually something. Now, g7, bishop f8, we take. How do I prove that is not a draw? I don't think I do. I think that just is a draw. So, other alternative is rook a8 and wait, I'm stupid. Wait, I'm fucking guys, I'm actually stupid. After this, the king has to step on this file, and then this check just wins the queen. It was actually way simpler than I thought. Oh my god. We just win the queen. Oh, sometimes I just overcomplicate stuff, and that was kind of embarrassing. Okay, I should have found that way faster. But let's try to redeem ourselves. As I said, I don't want to cut it, so you're just gonna be seeing my blunders and laughing about them together with me. Now, we don't have any check except for f7. I'm sorry, I got a call there. And after king f8, looks like our attack is finished. Only move that I can think about is this, after which he has to take because it's the only legal move. And by the way, after f7 he has to play king here, because again there are no other legal moves. So this is very forcing. I'm starting to calculate this because it's very, very forcing. After he takes, we can promote to a queen, and then he takes, and then we don't promote, we play queen f8, and it's actually checkmate. So this is all very forcing. That was easy to calculate because it was forcing. Promote to a queen, and this is checkmate. Easy, you know? Alright. Now, queen g2 would be checkmate, if not for this. What we could do instead is rook g2. Now this is actually simpler. I have a theory that after you get one puzzle wrong, they start giving you easier ones. For some reason. This is just made into it. It's actually quite simple. It's rook here, protected by our queen, which is hanging, but can't take because it is check. And wherever the king moves, our queen steps on the square right in front to deliver the mate, supported by the rook. Yeah. And hi, this is post-production me talking, but the video took way longer than I thought. I actually got a very good run. I'm not gonna spoiler anything, but I'm gonna stop here because I got to 30, and I'm gonna see you next day, is probably Wednesday or something like this, for the second part. And yeah, thank you for watching, and see you later.